Two things for y'all, real quick. Two statements before we get to the punchline, okay? Number one, I think that Rico Dowdle is better than you think. Okay, number two, I want to be wrong about Zeke Elliott. I don't think I am, but I also don't think it matters. Okay, and now for the punchline. I simply want, with this whole Cowboys running game thing, okay, seamlessly solving it, I want opposing defenses to respect or fear, whichever word you want to use, whichever adjective you like, the Cowboys run game enough to discourage defenses themselves, discourage themselves when it matters the most out of that too high, drop 7, drop 8 shell coverage. Okay? Help your quarterback out is the point. All right? Now, let's elaborate a little bit on why I think that Rico Dowdle is probably better than you think. And by you, I just mean the public's general perception of him at this stage in his career. Okay? A couple numbers for you, just to think about this. Food for thought. Context. Sports below the surface. Here we go. Rico Dowdle in 2023. 18th overall in juke rate, which is essentially player profiler's elusiveness rating. How often are you making guys miss? Okay. 18th in the league. Not bad. 9th in the league in total yards created per touch. Okay. Just giving you guys a little bit of example. What I mean by I want opposing defenses to feel threatened, to fear the run game enough, just enough to ever so often in the postseason or down the stretch, right? When it's cold outside, to discourage teams from sinking into a too high shell, right? Light boxes, okay? Let's eliminate that if we can, right? I don't think that's too much to ask. Okay, let's take a look. You guys tell me what you see here.
Here's Rico Dowdle with the pitch.
I see juice and a lot of it. Okay, we're going to talk about his touches per carry compared to Tony Pollard's from a year ago. Pretty impressive, right? Tony Pollard's got a pretty decent reputation in this league. Pretty well respected amongst members of this fan base. Well, if that's the case, then Tony Pollard's 307 touches last year, and yes, I know he was hurt. I know he's overcoming a little bit of an injury. Said he probably wasn't right, didn't feel 100% mentally as a result of it until about halfway through the season. That's fine. I'll add that context. I'll concede that. I'll say that's fair. But still, this just goes to show you, everybody was excited about Tony Pollard last year. Most people were, okay? 307 touches for 1,316 total yards. That's good for 4.28 yards per touch. Okay, Rico Dowdle on the flip side of that token. 106 total touches. 505 total yards. 4.76 yards per touch. Okay, so just further context here. If you want to allocate that over the span of a full season, okay, let's give Tony Pollard, or let's give Rico Dowdle all of Tony Pollard's touches. And that looks like 4.76 yards per touch at 307 total touches, which is the amount of touches that Tony Pollard had a year ago. 1,461 yards from scrimmage, as opposed to 1,316. So 150 extra yards over the course of a season. That's a football field and a half for those who are doing the math back there. Okay? Maybe it doesn't seem like a whole lot, but it's pretty substantial. 4.7 as a jump to 4.2 yards per touch, or if we even want to just go 4.1 yards per carry as opposed to 3.9. I mean, it's a sizable jump, okay? It's enough to at least make you say, okay, well, maybe there's a little bit of something with Rico Dowdle. So kind of the whole point I'm getting at is, phone trying to take me out there. The entire MO of this offseason for me, I'm going to keep reiterating it over and over and over again until enough people understand it, okay? It's not difficult to be better running the football than you were a year ago. Now, how do you seamlessly solve that, Lando? Well, here's where the conversation gets a little bit uncomfortable, okay? First, let's talk about Zeke. Like I said at the beginning, I want to be wrong about him. I don't think I am, but I don't think that it matters either, okay? A little bit of soul music for y'all while we talk about some of the darker things of this discussion, okay? Zeke was brought here to serve a very specific purpose, and that's a purpose that I think he's obviously very capable of serving, right? Handle the short downs and distances and the goal line work. The Cowboys were 2 seasons ago, were the best in the business at converting in the red zone. Last year, they fell back to middle of the pack. Okay. Zeke Elliott's nose for the end zone, his power, vision. I even want to go so far to say, in the short downs and distances, the ability to convert and fall forward when you need 2 tough yards. Fantastic. You don't really necessarily need explosive juice to fulfill those expectations, right? But I want to take a look at an article here real quick, and this is just going to give a little bit further context and validate the point that I'm about to make here. That Zeke's going to be on this team whether you or me or anybody like it or not. It's just the way that it is, okay? And a lot of that has to do with the security that he provides in pass protection as an extension of your offensive line. All right, you lining up against Myles Garrett, the reigning Defensive Player of the Year in Week 1? Yeah, guess who's going to feel a lot more comfortable having number 15, formerly number 21, next to him out there? Yeah, the MVP runner-up, Dak Prescott. You better believe it. Okay. Now the problem is with Zeke. Okay, and here's the brutal honesty about it all. Okay, he looks like a guy that hurts when he's moving. Every clip that I've seen of him so far in training camp, it looks like it hurts to move, and it probably should. Granted, the quality of the running back that he's been and the amount of volume that he's handled over the course of his career, it's no knock on him. It's just being honest about where we're at. I'm not doing my job if I'm not telling y'all how I feel. Okay, keep that in mind. All right, I'm not picking on anybody here. I want to be wrong about Zeke, like I said. But to me, I'm not convinced that he's even the 4th most explosive running back on your roster. And the 4th most explosive running back on any team's roster doesn't validate or bring the punchline to life. I want teams, opposing defenses, to respect your running game enough to where they can't just play in a light box, regardless of what down and distance that you're on, or what time, how much time is left, what quarter you're in. Okay, maybe I'm wrong there, and we'll see. But now, the other thing that I want to bring to life is, you know, let's just say if I am right about that, it sucks I would hate for politics, for just the name value alone of Zeke to be the reason why somebody like Royce Freeman, who I think is a younger, more spry version of him, similar type of player, right? Or for Deuce Vaughn to be left off of the 53-man roster as a result of that, just for politics, okay? But once again, redirect you guys to this article here, and I don't think that it's politics necessarily. I do think there's actually something to this, okay? Granted, we haven't seen Zeke. I've seen Royce. I've seen Rico. I've seen Deuce. I believe Deuce is going to make this team. He's going to be on this roster. I can't wait to be right about that. But I know that those are 3 real-life quality and capable NFL running backs that bring a little bit of burst to your backfield. All right? I haven't seen it from Zeke this offseason. And I think that's by design, obviously. The front office doesn't want to scare people away and just, whole different discussion, okay? But It's fair for me to speculate simply because I haven't seen it. All right. So, really quickly here, this article I think is very important. It's from Jori Epstein, senior reporter, yahoosports.com. Linebacker Eric Kendricks inched towards one of the gaps between the center and the guard, a safety creeping up from the backfield to attack the other. Edge rusher Micah Parsons stood behind them, ready to threaten. So the double A gap blitzes that you guys should be familiar with by now, if you're not already. Okay, Mike Zimmer, that's coming. The Cowboys offense hadn't discussed this. So what any team is gonna do is block Micah, said quarterback Dak Prescott. But for him being off the ball and in that look, it made it complicated. So Prescott asked 3 offensive linemen to keep an eye out for the 5 potential rushers. His offensive linemen weren't the only ones to answer the call. Leave it to running back Ezekiel Elliott to chip Micah Parsons. And Dak goes on to say, really what makes it work is Zeke being a true pro. His guy leaves, he follows, and he's able to track Micah. Boom. I step up, throw the in cut backside to Brandon Cooks at the time. Big play. Okay. Executing a training camp play hardly guarantees success in the regular season, but on that double A gap pressure, a look that Cowboys coordinator Mike Zimmer has increasingly challenged the offense with throughout camp, which was what we talked about. Okay. Elliott performed his job, or a job his quarterback was still praising a week and a half later, despite its complete absence in the stat line. So we know how Dak feels about Zeke, okay? They're best friends. At the very least, right, is that simple fact alone of Zeke being still all-world in the short downs and distances and pass protection worth a roster spot? Yeah, I think so. No question, okay? I just don't want those two factors to go along with some of the politics, I want to say. The way that we know that this franchise values Zeke, right? And what he does bring to the locker room also should be acknowledged. Okay, he is very well respected. He is a key and integral part of the vibrance, the energy, just a great teammate. Okay, it is what it is. All right. Do some digging, do your homework. It's not hard to find. Okay, that's real. And it matters to an extent, okay? I just don't want all of those components to take us to the point to where Zeke Elliott is dominating the touches. And I said everything that I said about Rico Dowdle to let you guys know, to give y'all a little bit of a sense of security that there's more talent in this backfield than you think there is, okay? But the point of the whole thing is you've got to be better controlling A gap and B gap. We're going to look at a couple examples here from Tyler Biadisz. I'm going to show you guys the difference in where this team really was handicapped. Okay. And once again, I hate that I have to just call players out by name. I hate discrediting them to an extent, even though Tyler Biadisz should be acknowledged and respected even more for a 4th round pick, turning himself, into it, earning his way into a second contract. Generational wealth now we're talking about for Tyler Biadisz. So it's a massive salute and a hats off to him. Okay, but his biggest area of weakness as a player, as a professional athlete, was the last thing that this offense needed a year ago. Okay, 6'3", 315 pounds, Tyler Biadisz. Cooper Beebe, 6'4", 335 pounds. 20 pounds on this guy, but he plays with a different level of anchor, people moving ability. And it's so evident to me. I've got some examples here for you too that I'll be more than happy to show you guys. Okay. I mean, let's just look at this. I mean, it speaks for itself, y'all. Just watch this. Watch the awareness from Cooper Beebe. One more time. Just another grown man. And then the wherewithal to pick up the blitz as well and just send a Spillane. That's a well-respected linebacker in this league too, kind of a chaotic dude. Sends him flying. Just the power and the punch, man. Damn! He's not getting moved. He's not getting moved. All right, let's take a look at another example here. This is Baldy.
Schoonmaker right here. Roll Max Crosby right out of there.
Situation.
On the opening play of the game. You got Cooper Beebe at center, 2 rookies out there playing. Asim Richards, Bass, like all Cowboy draft picks. You watch right here. Like, this is what you want. Like, that's Adam Butler right there. Been in the league a long time. Just put him down. Put him down on the ground. Put him to sleep. It's a Sunday night. Put him to bed. All right, let's watch him come off the rock right here. This is excellent right here. Like, good push. Running right behind him. Asim Richards, Cooper Beebe. Like, it's looking good.
You guys, I'm not going to bore you all with the Kool-Aid before we've even seen these guys play real regular season NFL snaps, okay? That's not necessarily fair to Tyler Biadisz. But what I am going to do, once again, something that I don't love doing, but it needs to be done because I have to provide context. I have to validate my points, my statements. I can't just be pulling things out of thin air and hoping that you guys believe me, okay? I have to provide proof for you. So we're going to go to the Bills game here, okay? .940 mark. Let's get to my clip. Here we go. This is a little bit less efficient than I'd like it to be, but it's okay. You guys love me anyways. 940. Here we go. We're just going to watch a little bit together, talk this through, okay? Exactly what I'm seeing. And once again, it shouldn't be too difficult, okay? If you're curious, that big fella right there that's lined up across from Tyler Biadisz just so happens to be Linval Joseph. Let's watch it again. Okay? You see Tyler Biadisz win the initial strike, the initial punch off the ball, but that's partially because he's got a first-team All-Pro Tyler Smith there chipping, helping him out and double team, kind of combo and then climbing up to the second level. Now watch what happens. Watch what happens once Tyler Smith vacates the scene. And just look at Biadisz, man. And it's, once again, it's just the hand that he was dealt. He struggles dealing with power in A-gap. This is Linval Joseph, 35-year-old Linval Joseph, right? And if people are sort of mocking that, I understand. But this is your starting caliber center from a year ago. That's, this is game recognized game here. Watch what happens. So Tyler Smith has fled the scene, okay? But just look, I mean, Tony Pollard, if Biadisz is able to stay put and just hold his ground, there's 2 extra yards of space, and TP doesn't get tackled by his own center because of the lack of the ability to anchor against a 34-year-old pocket-pushing, run-stopping, one-tech body type like Linval Joseph. Boom. Who knows how much, how many more yards could have come if not for that situation there. Okay? It's just one of those things, y'all. So next clip, 24:59. Let's go to it. I'm just giving y'all, I'm trying to do the best I can to be an open book, to just give you examples, talk you through what I'm thinking and what I'm seeing. 24:59. Right here. Here we go. Make sure y'all can see this. Yes, you can. Once again, Linval Joseph. Must have been after that play. I think it's the next play. Oh, 24-29. I'm sorry. That's on me. Hold up. I got my notes mixed up here. I apologize on that one. Let's get back to, yeah, here we go. Okay, 24-29. We're going to make this more efficient, y'all. Don't worry. I promise. It's going to get there. It's coming. Talk about rookie growing pains. These are growing pains of my own that I'm sorting through here, but here we go. Bam. Just look at that push, man. Look at the knockback. A slim ball Joseph. The guy that people think is too old to play football in this league. All right. That's another point that I just kind of want to go ahead and make here. I mentioned yesterday in the video, where I talked about viewer discretion being advised. Okay, here's some discretion for you.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
I mentioned Linval Joseph being bare minimum necessary to play real life NFL football. Okay. It wouldn't shock me, and I've been on that one. You guys have heard me mention that for months. I've been all over it. Just made too much sense. Connecting dots. Okay. It's not that I'm seeing things that other people aren't. I'm just a little bit more diligent with the work, and I'm like, look, gaping hole, fits a need, has the relationship with the coach. It's obvious. Okay. Price tag as well. If I believe what I said to be true, the bare minimum, and that may lead you to believe that I don't believe that the Cowboys are done yet adding to that defensive line. We'll just leave it at that. We'll see what happens. I don't know. They're showing me the signs that they think that they're closer than the general public is led to believe. Once again, it's not hard to be better running the football than you were a year ago. It's not hard to be better stopping the run than you were a year ago. 29th in run stop success rate last year. 29th. In the running game, your offense was even, it looked worse in certain instances throughout the season against playoff quality opponents. If not worse, just as bad, just as inept. All right, now, I promise you the title of the video, okay? Seamlessly solving the Cowboys run game. Let's see. Let's go to Lando. The Lando show's most recent timeline here and see what we can find. One 30-second clip can teach us all that we need to know about how the Cowboys can spark their run game. You guys be the judge. Interesting. Just thinking out loud here. Okay, that's what we do. Anyway, make sure that's all I wanted to cover today. It's really, it's plain and simple, y'all. Rico Dowdle behind a team that had zero idea how to run the football a year ago. Let me make myself a little bit bigger. Was still well above league average in yards per touch. He was towards the top of the league and elusiveness once the ball was in his hands, essentially. Talk about those numbers again here. I got them right here. 18th overall in juke rate, 9th overall in yards created per touch. Like, there's a couple more clips I think that we didn't get to real quick, just to further prove my point about. Just watch this. Look, this is that stat. This is the stat right here. Okay, let me share my screen so y'all can see what I'm seeing. This is it. It's not hard, guys. ninth in the league in yards created per touch, 8.5 yards per catch. Look at this. Yes, I know he's had trouble staying healthy, but when he's healthy, this is what you get. Yards created per touch. Just look. That's juice, ladies and gentlemen. But all of a sudden you add Deuce Vaughn to the mix, who is the most unique back in anybody in that backfield, and you put a people-moving body type like Cooper Beebe in between a first-team All-Pro from a year ago and a first-ballot Hall of Famer, you can seamlessly solve your running game. Here's a clip from Foots. Shout out to Foots. Another example of Tyler Biadisz. This is some of the areas in which the Cowboys were held back last year. Okay? I don't need to elaborate on that right there. It just is what it is, man. It just is what it is. Another thing to talk about here, seamlessly solving your run game. You know, if you followed me for any amount of time now, longer, that just dates back to any time in the last calendar year, you've probably seen or you've probably heard me type or talk about Jeff Blasco being gone out of the mix for the Cowboys. That was, if you're not familiar with who that name is, it's the Cowboys run game coordinator. Personal leave of absence between weeks 2 and week 7 from a year ago. That doesn't help you seamlessly solve your running game. I'll tell you that right now. Number 2, Zach Martin. Held out of training camp, has openly and publicly acknowledged that decision to hold out, albeit the right one for his financial future, okay, held him back as a player. And he dealt with and played through injuries all season long. Okay, you heard that here first. Well, if you hadn't heard it before, then you heard it here first just now. Okay, it's not widely accepted. It's not widely talked about. Most people don't know that, but that's true. All right. Point number 3. Terrence Steele clearly wasn't the same run blocking player that he was in 2022. Recovering from that ACL injury. Okay, but guess what? That's a guy. Go look at Skywalker Steele did a great piece on this. If you just type in Terrence Steele, Skywalker Steele, that's Cuzzo for him. Came on strong down the stretch of the season. Okay, he's gonna be a different run blocking player, just a different player overall. It's 2 years removed now from the ACL. It's general. It's conventional wisdom in this league. Okay, that's when you bet on a guy being the former version of himself post injury, an injury of that caliber. Okay. All these factors, and even Tyron Smith, as good as he was last year, as much as I advocated for keeping him at the price tag, right? $6.5 million guaranteed, and then if he plays, I want to say, I think the structure of the deal for the Jets was, if he plays half the season, it doubles to 12 roughly, and then every game on top of that he plays is an extra $1 million, so up to roughly $17 million. But for a guy that graded out as highly as Tyron Smith did a year ago in pass protection, that's money that any team should be willing to spend, okay? That was kind of the whole point. But if he gets hurt, that's why you incentivize the structure of the deal, so you protect yourself. Neither here nor there. His downfall at this stage of his career was the run blocking, okay? And Tyler Guyton, once again, we already kind of have a pretty good feeling, we should at the very least, know what he's about. Why I believe in him, real quick, I'll just touch on it again. 2 words. If you aren't familiar with him again, just Google it. Duke Manyweather. Okay. But Tyler Guyton, the conviction in his eyes, the confidence in his voice when he speaks and when he talks about preparation and just the level of football, okay? The 6'8", 330-pound physical traits co-aligning matching up with the intangible traits of the way that he's wired between the ears. He's asked the question, Tyler Guyton, hey, were you able to enjoy your offseason? Or at any point, take a vacation this summer? No. I've been working with Big Duke. I've been at the facility. I'm serious about this. I'm here to play football. So I'll let that play out as well. I'm not going to try to sell you on that. Shouldn't have to. Once again, just a little bit of context, a little bit of digging goes a long way. It's honestly how I feel, man. There's enough juice on this roster. In the running back room, I should say. If you can control A and B gap, sprinkle in a little bit of the elements of the quarterback run game, Trey Lance would like a word. And then don't let Zeke dominate the touches. This team is going to look much different running the football this year. Very, very confident saying that. I really am. I mean, call it Kool-Aid if you want to. But I've attempted to do the work here to show my work. I'm not just talking, pulling things out of thin air. Okay. Apologize for some of the, there was a couple hiccups there with the production. It's going to continue to get better. You guys are helping make that possible. The new Roadcaster, the soundboard, making things more interactive. You'll see a lot more live shows. You'll see a lot more of me. All right, I ain't going anywhere, and the continued support is more than appreciated. You see the QR code right there. If you're called or led to give, you're financially free enough to support me in the channel. We're just about got it monetized, y'all. So it's a massive step for me, for the Lando Show, but for the Cowboys community, because you guys you've shown me the love. You've given me the energy and the desire to continue pursuing this. All right, so that right there, you can scan that. That's how you help me make this production altogether even better. Okay, that's the camera fund to get me the Sony A series to make this y'all can actually catch me in 4K. Now, if I'm lying, if I'm telling the truth, you'll see it in 4K now instead of just through the internal hardware, the camera from this here laptop. But yeah, man, that's it. That's all I got. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, all I ask from you is to hit that like button for me. It's the best way to support me. It's the easiest way. The subscribe button helps too, but just to hit the like button, man. That's it. I'll keep bringing you guys this content. I'll keep doing the best that I can to bring you all sports below the surface and delivering it in an entertaining and objective fashion to the fans like yourselves that deserve it, that really truly deserve something other than what just the constant regurgitated clickbait, fake take, mainstream media that's forced down your throats. Okay, remember, prayer changes things. The war is already won. Love you guys.